How's it going, MMA fans? My name is Adam,
I'm Roman.
and we're here to talk about UFC 94, St. Pierre versus Penn 2.
Another great card put together, and the best way to start off the year, this kind of card. Our first fight, we have Nate Diaz versus Clay the Carpenter Guida. Now, as you know, Diaz has a 5-fight winning streak in the UFC. He's coming off a controversial win against Josh Neer in a split decision. Diaz has great jiu-jitsu skills. Most of his wins are by submission, so I'm expecting Diaz to take this fight by a submission. Then you have Guida. He's coming off a 2-fight winning streak. He beat Sammy Schiavo, I believe, by TKO in the first round, and also beat Matt Danzig recently in a unanimous decision. Took it all 3 rounds, controlled the pace, had great wrestling skills. And Guida, he's not afraid to trade punches. He pushes the fight into deep rounds, and he never gets tired. And in order for Guida to win, I think he has to take this fight all the way. So it's kind of hard for me to pick a winner, but I'm picking Diaz by submission. If not, Guida's going to win by decision.
Yeah, there's not too much for me to say about this fight. I could definitely see Diaz winning by submission. I would pick too, but I'd like to see Guida win, simply because I like his style and the way he stands up and keeps the fight going.
On to our next fight, Carl the Heat Parisian against Dung Hung Stun Gun Kim. Wow, what a name. And I gotta say, finally, Carl Parisian is back into the octagon ever since his last loss against Thiago Alves in the second round by TKO, and then he was supposed to fight Yoshida, and he got injured, so Koscheck had to take over that fight. But, you know, I'm happy that Parisian's back, and, you know, hopefully he wins this fight and goes up the ladder and gets a title shot. And Parisian, you know, in his all fights, he has some crazy jiu-jitsu style, and, you know, he has great throwdowns. And I'm saying, you know, he's going to probably take this fight all the way. I mean, Parisian's not really known as a finisher. You know, he probably did it once or twice in his career in the UFC. But I say Parisian's going to win unanimous decision.
Yeah, I would hope that Parisian can come back and win this fight, because he's had somewhat of a slump lately, and it'd be good for him to be back on top of his game.
And hopefully Parisian wins. You know, he could get a tough competitor in the future ahead of him. But, you know, you got to take one fight at a time. Next, onto our next fight, Stephen American Psycho Bonner against John Bones Jones. Now, Bonner's coming off an injury, and he recently fought in UFC 77, and he beat Eric Schaefer in that fight. Bonner has great striking skills, and, you know, he could definitely take this fight by TKO. But you know what? I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go with Jones on this fight. Newcomer in the UFC. Beat Andre Gusamo, I believe, in UFC 87. He has great wrestling skills, good jiu-jitsu, and good Muay Thai. So I'm going to pick Jones as an upset, and probably maybe TKO in the second round.
Yeah, based on what I know of Jones's skills, it seems like he can overpower Bonner, and I just don't see Bonner being able to match up well with him. So I'm taking Jones.
Alright, on to our next fight, Lyoto Machida versus Thiago Silva, 13-0 versus 13-0. I mean, it can't get better than this. You know, they were supposed to fight before, but I think Machida got injured previously, so now the fight's back on. I believe they were supposed to fight in UFC 89, actually, but now they're back. And, you know, I'm leaning towards Machida in this fight. This fight's gonna probably go all 3 rounds. Machida has great karate skills, and most of his wins are basically by decisions. He had only, I believe, 1 submission in his fight in the UFC, but he's coming over a great win against Tito Ortiz, won by decision. Displayed great ground skills there. Got out a submission where Tito Ortiz had him in the 3rd round, and he got out of it and beat him down all 3 rounds. And then you have Thiago Silva with a 4-fight winning streak in the UFC. He never went the distance in his career in the UFC, actually, and most of his wins are submission. I'm sorry, mostly by TKO, and had a submission by Antonio Mendez. And it's going to be probably the first time Silva is going to get tested and go deep in the fight. And I'm picking Machida to win, and hopefully down the road gets a title shot.
Yeah, I'm looking for this to be a good fight. Actually, maybe almost a great fight. Two fighters coming in 13-0, coming with everything to fight for. I'm leaning towards Silva winning, even though they both have these great talents. But I'm hoping Silva can win and come up on top.
And on to our main event, we have George Rush St. Pierre versus BJ the Prodigy Penn. Now, we saw what happened in their previous fight. I believe it was 2 years ago. And BJ Penn controlled the first round of the fight, bloodied up Pierre. And then in the second and third rounds, it's basically what happened to him. Gassed out. Pierre took over the fight, took him down. Great wrestling skills he showed us, and pounded him out from there and took the fight by decision. This fight, I'm hoping it goes 5 rounds. I hope there's going to be a war. They hyped this fight so much that, I hope it really turns out on what they say it is. Pierre's coming off a great fight over John Fitch. Went 5 rounds where he basically controlled the fight since the starting point. And I'm surprised Fitch stood with him for all these 5 rounds. And then you have Penn, who beat Sean Shirk by TKO in the second round. I'm sorry, after the second round, and they stopped it. And Penn, he has good stand-up, and all he has to work on, I believe, is his cardio. Otherwise, you have Pierre, who is all-rounded, great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, and it's hard to pick, but I'm just gonna go with Penn. He's gonna win it by decision this time.
Yeah, obviously this is a huge fight, one of the biggest fights of the year, and one of the biggest fights in UFC history, seeing as first-time champion versus champion. And obviously both fighters have great talents, very skillful with what they do. They they obviously, if you've been seeing UFC primetime, been training a lot. They've been getting ready for this fight, and I'm hoping to see Penn win this. Hoping to see it go all 5 rounds also. But George St. Pierre, he's very athletic. He seems to always have great cardio, and it's true that Penn, hopefully Penn would have to have great cardio also in order to keep up with him. But I'm looking for Penn to win this fight.
All right, guys. So now we're gonna look forward for these fights, and we'll be back making more predictions for the future cards. So for now, just take care. See you guys soon.
Enjoy UFC 94.
All right.